What's going on, y'all? What's up? What's up? Let me actually gonna wipe my camera off real quick. All right. So we should be good now over there. Let my phone camera off. Good. Cool. So, all right, we should be good. But we here, y'all. We live. Gonna be just doing a straight up Q&A. I'm answering questions. What's up? What's up? What's going on, y'all? There's gonna be doing this just a straight up Q&A, answering some of these live questions. Oh, actually, we have a lot of pre-submitted questions. I actually almost forgot. 1 second.
For a date spot?
I didn't TikTok.
You pull up a lot of these. So I got a lot of pre-submitted questions. I'm gonna get to some of these, but I'm also gonna be answering live questions as well. So I'm just screenshotting some of the pre-submitted questions that I got. But definitely y'all make sure y'all are ready to ask your questions. I'm going to be addressing the questions in the chat as well. Hope everybody is doing good. Hope everybody's blessed. Y'all, just a couple quick announcements that Tech is the New Black, the podcast, we actually are going to be at 100,000 subscribers by tonight. So I'm incredibly excited about that. Excited to share that news with y'all. Let me kind of scoot this over. I'm trying to give y'all a good view, so that way y'all ain't got to stare at my face the whole time. But Tech is the New Black, we actually are going to officially be at 100,000 subscribers on YouTube tonight. It's really incredible. I see the question about someone asking about mock calls. So any advice for mock calls? When you say mock calls, are you referring to the introductory call that you have, or the screening call is really what they call it, where you speak with, usually it's over the phone, where you speak with a recruiter. You speak usually with like the initial recruiter before they vet you to actually be a part of the actual interviews. Ashek said he called it. You called that we were about to be at 100,000 subscribers. You probably did. All right, y'all. All right, cool. Q&A. All right, cool. So I just sent over the pre-submitted questions to myself. So now we can get rocking and rolling. I'm gonna join this live on Instagram. So I want to make sure that you're referring to. I want to make sure that you're referring to when you say, are you talking about the screening call? Somebody said, will AI take over tech sales jobs? No, it won't. Not anytime soon. It's going to take AI. So let me explain this really quickly. Well, let me go live on Instagram too first before I start yapping away the whole time. So no, AI will not take away tech sales jobs. That's a really great question. Actually, I'm about to explain why. Let me just pull up here to go live on the Instagrams as well. We're not gonna have to worry about any feedback today, y'all, because today I am actually just gonna be on here myself. So we don't have to worry about any guests coming on and it creating like some crazy type of feedback or anything. It's weird. Okay. All right, I know how to find it. All right. I sent the questions to myself. Now I'm just trying to find them. Here we go. Found them. Found them. All right, cool. this. We'll do it this way. And then we will. So I'm doing a little light multitasking. But where is StreamYard? Hopefully I didn't delete the StreamYard link because I do not see y'all right now. Okay. Here we go. Boom. Here y'all go. Found y'all. Okay, great. All right, we back in the money. All right, cool. Going live on Instagram now as well. And the first question I want to answer is if AI will replace. First question is going to be if AI will replace tech sales jobs, or really more so why AI. Why AI will not replace tech sales jobs. All right, y'all. So finally live on Instagram now. So we live on Instagram, live on LinkedIn, YouTube. So first question we're going to address, before I even do the introduction, first question we're going to address is whether or not AI will replace tech sales jobs. So like I mentioned to those of y'all over here on YouTube and LinkedIn, AI will not be replacing tech sales jobs, at least not until the next, at the fastest will probably be about 5 years, but realistically it's going to take about 10 or 15 years before AI is able to replace tech sales jobs. Now, the reason why I say this, let me take a quick sip of my wine. I was about to make a joke, but I decided not to. Anyway, the reason why AI will not be replacing tech sales jobs anytime soon, because I personally believe AI is going to replace everything. AI and robotics are going to replace everything. There are a lot of people and y'all know I encourage people to get in tech. I encourage people to get these careers, all of this, but I'm not going to cap and say AI isn't. AI is definitely going to replace everything at some point in time. But tech sales, and not just tech sales, sales engineering, solutions architect, implementations team, customer success manager, all of these customer facing roles, these will be the hardest roles for AI to replace. Not because the job is complicated. It won't be hard for AI to replace the roles because the job is complicated. Because the roles that AI in tech are going to be able to replace first are actually the more complicated jobs. The reason why AI is going to take AI significantly longer to replace customer-facing roles, again, customer success manager, sales engineer, solutions architect, tech sales roles, are because of the human factor that since these are customer-facing roles, and especially if you're talking a sales type of role, no one wants to be sold something to them or convinced by an AI. No one wants to be talking to an AI and the AI is trying to convince them to buy something. Like, think about it. Right here, y'all see me right here. Y'all see me right here. Y'all would not want to tune into this live if I wasn't a real person. If I was an AI, imagine if I was a virtual bot. I was a virtual bot and I was telling people, hey guys, y'all should consider a career in the tech industry because it's great. Y'all wouldn't even trust me. You would not trust me at all. Think about how much we have a tough time trusting actual people, let alone trusting AI, trusting a virtual bot. Now, I don't believe people are more or less trustworthy than AI because AI is made by people. So the flaws we see in AI are really just going to be a representation of the flaws that are within us. Nevertheless, as human beings, we will have it'll take significantly longer for the user adoption. So think of it this way. When Airbnb, not even Airbnb, Airbnb, let's think of Airbnb and Uber as examples. When Airbnb and Uber first launched, there was an adoption period. There was a long period before people were comfortable getting in the car with a stranger that wasn't a cab driver, getting in someone's personal car and trusting this stranger who wasn't a part of some taxi company to take you to your home or take you to some private destination, pick you up and take you. it took a while for the user adoption for that to take place, even though that was an actual person. Same thing with Airbnb. People were not comfortable at first getting inside of a stranger's house and being inside of a stranger's home with the possibility of cameras being everywhere, with the possibility of the owner of that home or the owner of that property being a bit crazy. Those things were significantly hard. It was hard for that user adoption to take place before people were comfortable with an Airbnb, or before people were comfortable with a, being inside of an Uber, inside of a Lyft vehicle. Now, what caused the expedition of that adoption? The crisis that happened in 2008, 2009, the real estate, when the real estate market crashed, when the everything that happened with the banks, basically people going broke and gas prices going up while people were broke. Because people were broke and because gas prices went up, car sales went down. I'm not going to give y'all a whole history of what happened, but essentially car sales dipped and people didn't want to drive their own personal vehicles. So around that time and around that era is when Uber started, when Uber was created and was implemented and started booming, and people became comfortable getting in the car with a stranger because now it was about a money and a convenience thing, despite them not being comfortable. Fast forward to today, now people are just comfortable getting inside of Ubers and Lyfts. Same thing with Airbnb. This happens in many industries. Same thing with Zoom. Last example I'll give. Think of Zoom, the platform Zoom. Zoom was already in existence, but what expedited Zoom's user adoption, what expedited the process with Zoom was the component that Zoom, once the pandemic hit and people could no longer work in the office and people were now working from home, we now needed a meeting platform for all of us to join in and be able to tune in and work from home and be able to do meetings. So likewise is the same thing with AI, where gradually there will be a user adoption period to where people will get more and more comfortable with AI. What's going on, Aaron? Aaron Nichols in the comments over here on LinkedIn. Aaron Nichols, actually, he was the account executive when I would do my demos as a sales engineer. He was probably the number one account executive that would loop me in to do the demos. He and I worked together a lot. We were like Batman and Robin. What's going on, Aaron? He's gotten promoted like twice since we started working together. He's a great guy. Anyway, so likewise, when we're talking about customer facing roles, when we're talking about roles like Aaron's, for example, Aaron is an account executive. I think he's a mid-market now since he's gotten promoted. He's a mid-market account executive. If everybody's on Instagram, y'all see me looking over here, it's because the LinkedIn and YouTube community are over here, and everybody that's on over here, y'all see me looking over here, it's because Instagram is over here. Just kind of let y'all know what's going on. But anyway, roles like Aaron's, he's a mid-market account executive. Congratulations again on the promotion, bro. He's a mid-market account executive. He has a customer-facing role. That's a tech sales role. Sales engineering, customer success manager, various other roles that I've listed. These roles, implementation team, these are customer-facing roles. It's going to take a very long time before people are comfortable with AI doing that job. And basically, AI can do Aaron's job. It will eventually be able to do his job. But Aaron essentially is a sales rep in tech. No person's going to want to be sold to by an AI, because to them, it's like, well, yeah, you're programmed to give me these answers. Whether you're not going to give me an honest answer, you're going to give me the answers you were programmed to give me. So it's going to take a while before people are comfortable with it. But AI definitely, in my opinion, is going to replace everything eventually at some point in time. My bad, y'all. That was a really good question that I got at the start of the live before I even started this Instagram live. So I wanted to address that. So gonna go ahead and kind of start everything off officially. A lot of y'all have sent questions in to me to answer. So I'm going to answer live questions. Again, I'm just one person. I'm going to try to get to as many of these as I possibly can. I'm going to prioritize pre-submitted questions first, and then I'm going to answer the live questions afterwards. So everybody, those of y'all that are here on Instagram, make sure you're putting your questions in the question box so I can get to them after I get to the pre-submitted questions. But more than likely, the questions that I'm going to answer that were pre-submitted are probably questions that you already have. So first and foremost, let's do the greetings. So for those who do not know me, obviously y'all see my name. I'm Cyrus. I got into the tech industry 2 years ago, literally 2 years ago, from this week. This is my 2-year anniversary from when I started doing what's called a tech bootcamp. Most of y'all here know what tech bootcamps are at this point. If you don't know, I have FAQs that explains what it is. But I did a tech bootcamp 2 years ago. It was a 4-week program at the time. A few weeks, several weeks, roughly 7 or 8 weeks after finishing the program, I started at my first company, which ended up being the company that I met Aaron at, who's here in the LinkedIn comments. I'm not sure if he's still here or not, but he was the one that commented. So I started at my first tech company. They started me at $90,000. I job hopped to a couple other companies and ended up scaling just my income wise to a little under $250,000 in less than a year. But my total comp was over $500,000. After getting into the tech industry, literally just after a few months of being in the industry, I was upset that no one told me about the industry and no one really encouraged me to get in the industry. So I decided to start telling people online about it, to help other people out, tell other people how I got in the industry, tell other people how I was scaling in the industry, really break down piece by piece everything that I was doing so other people can kind of follow behind me and do the exact same thing. Fast forward, brands started reaching out. The tech bootcamp I did, as well as others, were offering discounts to my community. And now I give people free information, free game on how to break into the tech industry, whether it's using your transferable skills, if you have a technical degree, if you've done a tech bootcamp. If you haven't done a tech bootcamp, that's usually what I recommend to people. Or I also give like advice and tips on how people can interview better, how they can network better, essentially trying to give people all the gems and tools to make as much money as possible in the tech industry, and or leverage technology and artificial intelligence to scale your personal business or your personal brand. And of course, I'm the host of Tech is the New Black. Again, heads up, y'all. Those of y'all on Instagram don't know this. Tech is the New Black is about to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube tonight. It's crazy. I'm blown away by that. Thank all of you for the support that you've given. If you watched it, if you liked it, if you shared it, we thank you very greatly, and we appreciate you all so very much. That being said, if you're not subscribed to Tech is the New Black, go ahead and subscribe so you can say that you were a part of the first 100,000 subscribers on the Tech is the New Black YouTube channel. All right, cool stuff. Speaking of, I literally just got a text from my videographer. Anyway, let's get to these questions. So first, we mentioned that. I mentioned the anniversary. Also, we are going to start doing giveaways with Tech is the New Black. So at least once a month, we are going to sponsor one person, maybe two, to be able to do a tech bootcamp. Now, it's going to be at random. We're going to figure out what the stipulations are going to be. It'll probably be something where you'll have to watch a podcast episode. There might be like a certain code word or something that you have to put in the comments. It'll be something. I'm not really sure. But we'll choose people at random. So we might even choose people that are already working in tech. We're just going to choose people at random. We're not going to verify whether or not they're in tech already. We're just going to choose people that we see in the comments of our content. And then we're going to like announce online who won. And they can either use that themselves. They can use that bootcamp themselves. And again, we'll cover it. We'll pay for it. They can either use it themselves or they can gift it to someone else as a gift, and we'll cover that person. So stay tuned for that. Aside from that, couple quick updates, and I'm gonna get back to the questions. So everybody knows I've been recommending Course Careers, Careerists, other boot camps, various boot camps at different times to break into tech. Also, of course, I and the Tech is the New Black team, we offer discounts into these programs. We just recently partnered with Pivot Tech. They are, I didn't get my windows clean. Windows look kind of crazy. My bad. Random thought. We just recently partnered with Pivot Tech. They're offering a discount up to $300 off their bootcamp. They offer cybersecurity and data analytics, and they do job placement as well. So if anyone's interested in cybersecurity or data analytics, I do recommend that you check out Pivot Bootcamp, because not only are they an award-winning tech bootcamp, not only were they also guests that we've had on the Tech is the New Black podcast. So if you want to learn more about them, it was one of my favorite episodes ever. They were hilarious, amazing dudes, but they assist with job placement as well. So I definitely would encourage, if anyone wants to get in cybersecurity, data analytics. Cybersecurity is a very high paying role in tech. It's one of the best roles, one of the most in demand. one of the most, if not the most, recession-proof or layoff-proof jobs in tech for various reasons. I would encourage you, if you're interested, to definitely check out Pivot Tech Bootcamp. Of course, use the link in my bio if you want a discount, so that way you can get up to $300 off, depending on which course you choose to do, because they do have others. Anyway, yeah. And also, Course Careers has a UX UI design course that they recently just dropped. So I'm just trying to give y'all some updates, because I usually don't give people updates on these boot camps. So I did a little research today to see some updates with these boot camps, so I can let y'all know. So if anybody wants to do UX or UI design, same thing. We have a discount with Course Careers. If you want to do that, again, Course Careers is only $449. That's it. Specifically, like with my discount. So if you use my discount, which is same thing, link in my bio, blah, 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 blah. Y'all know what it is. I'm just letting y'all know what's up. Anyway, oh yeah, and also full transparency for people who don't know, if somebody uses my discount, I do get a kickback from any of the boot camps. So I try to be very clear about that, because I like to be very honest. So if you don't like me for whatever reason and you just want free information and you don't want a discount, you can go to the boot camp, do it anyway. Don't use my discount if you don't want a discount. Maybe you balling like that, or you don't care to save any money, which is totally cool. Just at least letting people know what's up. That being said, let's get to these questions that y'all have pre-submitted. All right. So, all right, we got a lot of questions. Y'all brought in some good questions. What do you feel is the best data analytics or data analyst boot camp? Is it worth getting into as an added skill? So data analysts or data analytics, same thing. Pivot Tech, my bad. Pivot Tech, the same bootcamp I mentioned, cybersecurity. They have a data analytics course, and again, they do career placement. So again, I would recommend a bootcamp, especially like theirs, if they do career placement. So I would say check theirs out. Yeah, data analysts, you can make money in that space, but don't expect to get to like $250,000. Like any of the money you can get in, like as an account executive or a sales engineer, like, you know, as you kind of scale up, you're more than likely not going to be making that kind of money as a data analyst, but you definitely are going to be making six figures in that space. So if you just want to get to the over $100,000 mark, you definitely can do that. All right, next question. And even though I'm looking over here, the pre-submitted questions are actually from Instagram. So next question. Did you start out as a BDR or basically a business development representative? No, I didn't actually. Continuing on with the question, they said, I did tech sales before, debating between BDR, cloud, or cyber. So first off, those are three entirely different jobs in tech. So again, I never did BDR. I never did tech sales. I really need to get these windows clean. My bad. I keep going off on the tangents. I'm looking right here and I'm like, these windows look real dingy and dirty. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, let me get out my head. So I never did tech sales. I'm a sales engineer. So I did a sales engineering course. BDR, cloud, and cybersecurity are they're not even just three different jobs in tech. Those are like three different sub industries in tech, because cybersecurity isn't really a job in tech. That's a category of jobs in tech. So you can be in the cyber space in tech or be a security engineer, and that's a variety of different roles. Same thing, BDR is a job under the umbrella of tech sales. Cloud is a job under the umbrella of the cloud space in tech. So those are three entirely different jobs in tech, but all of those are six-figure jobs. Not just six-figure. Well, BDR isn't a six-figure job. You're going to fall right below six figures, but you get promoted to an account executive, which is a six-figure role in tech. And you can get promoted. And if you're doing your due diligence, and also this for all of these roles, tech sales, cloud engineering, and being a security or a cybersecurity engineer, all of these roles are roles that you can make $250,000 plus as you get promoted and as you scale up. So you could be, rich, not like multi-millionaire rich. You can if you invest your money properly, but you can be rich like $500,000 depending on how hard you work, depending on the company you're at, and depending on like what you negotiate with those companies. You can be like at $500,000 in any one of these roles. So really just figure out which one you want to do. All right. I'm gonna answer a couple more of these. I'm gonna try to breeze through these pre-submitted questions so that way I can get to the live questions. But again, y'all, make sure you're paying attention because some of these pre-submitted questions are questions either one that you have or they're questions that you didn't think to ask, but they're of value for you to know, or it just might be your question. So anyway. All right, so someone asked a question about Octaply. So Octaply AI is it's the staffing and career artificial intelligence product that I'm one of the co-founders of. So Octaply AI does a list of different things. It structures your resume, it takes your skills section, updates your skills section. Essentially, it does all the work that it takes for you to land the interviews you want with the specific roles that you want. It even finds the companies for you, applies, does all of that. And we're constantly working to make it better. We're making updates every week. Every week, myself and my team are paying for any different issues that it's having, and also the upgrades that we're making to it as well. So we're really excited because this is something that's very new. It's true AI, and we're very excited for what it is that we're doing. And yeah, we thank everybody for kind of tuning in. We have a lot of users right now at Octaply. But anyway, to your question, you said Octaply does the job post filter to 1 week, so companies think you're proactive, or doesn't it matter? I don't fully understand your question. Please DM me this and DM it like more in full so I can understand your question better. All right, so next question. When I get hired for an SDR role, would it be helpful to have 2 phones? So it's not necessary, because the company that you're with, more than likely, the company will give you either a dial pad app, a Zoom app, or some type of app you can put on your phone. So that way, if customers call your phone, they're not calling your actual phone number. They're calling a separate phone number that's on the app. When I worked at Dialpad, I would use my phone all the time, but no one ever had my phone. Even like Aaron Nichols, who's here in the comments, he and I never had each other's number, but we would text and talk on the phone all the time throughout the days. But that was because we had the Dialpad app on the phone. So it would operate the same way without us having each other's personal numbers. So no, more than likely, you won't need to get 2 phones. Also, you don't need to get 2 phones, because even if you do need 2 phones, your tech company will buy your second phone for you. And usually, depending on the company, they will offer that to you. The company will say, hey, do you want us to give you an iPhone? So if you want to have a separate phone for work, they'll do that. But I would suggest you don't do that. The reason why, and I want everybody to hear this, everybody pay attention. Listen up, pay attention. The reason why I personally wouldn't encourage you to get a second phone for work is because if you use your actual phone for work, again, this is for the majority of tech companies, not all, but the majority. If you're using your phone for work, your tech company will actually pay your phone bill. So like Dialpad, like every tech company I've worked at, they actually paid my phone bill. They paid for my Wi-Fi. They paid for all of those things. So not only are you not going to have to give your personal number out, because again, your company will have an app, a dedicated app that you'll use. Beyond that, your company more than likely will also cover your phone bill. So you don't need to get a second phone. Definitely don't pay for anything yourself. Allow your company to get it for you. The only thing you need before you get a job in tech is a laptop with a camera on it, and it doesn't even have to be a super new laptop. It doesn't have to be a Mac. When I got my first job in tech, I had a laptop that was $150. The laptop was so cheap. It was dirt cheap. I literally I bought a separate webcam that I connected to the laptop. So that way my camera quality whenever I was doing interviews was better. So you can have a dirt cheap laptop and get a job in tech. Just have a $20, $30 webcam that at least shoots in HD. So that way your interview quality is pretty good. But yeah, let your tech company will buy you. They'll give you your laptop. They'll give you your desk. They'll give you all the equipment that you need. If you need a second phone, more than likely your company will cover that. So allow your company to cover all of those expenses and things. Don't do that yourself, especially not before starting at a company. All right. Someone said, can I do it if I'm in London? I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you're talking about Octaply AI is international. So yes, if you're in London, you can use Octaply AI. If you're talking about a boot camp, it depends on which boot camp you're talking about. So again, I would encourage this person and anyone that has a similar question to DM me on Instagram. DM me, really, you could DM me anywhere. You could DM me on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, you can email, whatever. And either way, I'll get back to you, or somebody on my team will get back to you. All right, good stuff. All right, next set of questions. All right, so next set of questions. Someone says, can you talk about people with background breaking into tech with misdemeanors? So I want to let everybody know I do have FAQs. Literally, if you go to, I always say the link in my bio on Instagram, or if you go to the Tech is the New Black website, I like skipped right there like I'm a robot. If you go to the Tech is the New Black website, there is a FAQ section there, and also the link in my bio on Instagram. I have a list of FAQs where I've answered pretty much most of the questions that I answer when I go live. I just do this out of a courtesy in case there are new questions that pop up. And also so people can like really talk to me like straight up. But to your question, can you get in tech if you have misdemeanors in your background? Yes, you can, because I have a bunch of misdemeanors in my background. Now, if you're talking felonies, that's where it gets more tricky, especially if you have a violent felony in your background. My suggestion would be that if you have a violent felony in your background, if it's something like, if it's something violent, I don't even want to like go too much into detail. We're all grown. We know what that means. If you have something violent in your background, my suggestion would be for you to pursue non-customer facing roles. Now, what does that mean? Non-customer facing roles. That's cybersecurity. That's that might be product. That might be something on the product side of things. That might be, you being a software engineer, a cloud engineer, a cloud developer, anything where you're not going to be interacting a lot with either clients, potential clients, or even interacting a lot within the organization at your company. The reason why is because companies, they're not going to want a person with a serious felony that's talking to customers, especially because your LinkedIn, your LinkedIn is going to be visible. Customers will be able to look up your LinkedIn. Team members at your company could look up your LinkedIn. And if somebody wants to, they could look you up and do a quick background check. And if they see that you have a violent felony, it could look bad on the company. But if you work behind the scenes, if you're a software engineer, you're doing cybersecurity, something behind the scenes, no one's gonna really, the odds of someone looking you up are like slim to none. So I would say that. The other thing I would say is maybe go to startups. So whether you're doing whether you want to do a customer facing role, or let's say you're a little hesitant because you have a violent felony, whatever that might be, my suggestion would be for you to go to startups as well. Because startups usually, especially if they're like in their Series A, Series B, or especially if seed round, but usually companies that are within seed round aren't going to pay you that much. But at least just getting into the industry, you might want to consider a startup like that, because they're not going to care as much about doing a background check. So just speaking transparently, like Octaply, for example, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to blame it on the wine. Octaply right now, we have a staff at Octaply of roughly 10 people. We are a very, very, very small tech company, very small tech business. And as we scale, I already know when we first start off scaling, we're going to hire some tech salespeople. Now, don't people start DMing me, submit your resume, because we're not doing that right now at all. We don't need tech salespeople right now because we're scaling and growing. We have other means of how we're going to scale and grow, but eventually we'll put out there, hey, y'all, we're looking to hire some of this, some of that. There's a possibility that the first, at least batch of people that we hire, there's a possibility we're not going to really care to do background checks at first. We're going to just care about people's aptitude and ability. But as we scale and grow as a business, maybe if we get some investors, that's when we're going to be much more nitpicky about who people are, about their background. And again, the reason why we would not trip about it as much at the beginning is because everyone's going to be working virtual. So we're not going to have to worry about any of our employees or team members like bumping into a customer or doing something, whatever. But again, as we scale and as we grow, we're going to care more about that. We're going to care more, be more nitpicky about things as we grow as a company. But just giving that as an example, I can speak from both an employee standpoint. I can speak as somebody who is a career advisor, you know, kind of helping people get in tech, helping people coaching when it comes to interviews, when it comes to resumes, all that good stuff. I do that already. But I also can speak from the angle of being an executive, because I was an executive with Validify, Pentology, and a co-founder now with Octaply AI. So I've been in all of the different points within like a tech company for the most part to help kind of like speak to a lot of these things. All right, next question. How long did it take you to get a job after the boot camp? 8 weeks. Most people, it takes most people anywhere between, depending on which boot camp you do, like out of the boot camps that I recommend, it takes most people anywhere between 2 to 5 months. But if you start applying and interviewing and implementing the things from my FAQs, implementing things from some of my podcast episodes, specifically the episodes with tech recruiters, if you implement those things, you could be amongst the people that get jobs before they finish the boot camp, or literally in the first month after they finish the boot camp. That's the whole purpose of me doing this. That's the whole purpose of Tech is the New Black. The purpose of all of these things is I got in the industry faster than most people, and I scaled faster than most people income-wise. But the goal is that people can learn. Like, nobody taught me most of the things that I did. So my goal, my idea, the purpose is that I want to teach people everything I did. I'm teaching everybody everything I did, so other people can do almost as well as me or even better than me. And that's happened. There have been plenty of people that have gotten way better initial offers than I could have dreamed of getting. I interviewed somebody on my live. I brought somebody on my IG live recently. I can't say who the person is because he didn't want me to share his how much he was making, but I brought someone on where his first job in tech, no tech background, his first job in tech, he was getting paid more than I was getting at my second job. And for example, my second job, I was getting $157,000, like just my salary. That's not talking about everything else, but just my salary, $157,000. So there was someone that used all the advice that I gave, and he got a job that started him over $160,000 out the gate. And that's a unicorn example, but that's still an example. And that's the whole goal of me doing this, is trying to give information and advice that could help people basically get rich in tech and do more than what I was able to do. That's the whole purpose. All right, so next question. Could you get us more lady guests in cybersecurity, especially in compliance, PCI, DSS? Yeah, I will. I'll definitely bring more women on that are cybersecurity. I understand the purpose of that. I'll tell y'all something straight up. This is not gonna. I'll be saying stuff that I probably should not say because people could take these clips. Somebody's probably gonna take these clips and try to cancel me in the future. But I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna always be 100. I'm gonna tell y'all something straight up. I'm not a super woke person. Like, I'm black. I'm blackity black. I'm proud to be black. You know, I am very aware of the issues and struggles that we've dealt with as black people and the issues we still deal with as black people. But I'm also not a person that likes to, I don't like to talk to people or treat people like victims. So even if you've been victimized, I don't like treating people like victims because that doesn't fully help us grow and develop, in my personal opinion. Again, whether you agree or you don't agree, the whole intention that I have is to help people be better. I might be wrong about it, but I just want to help people be better and not coddle people. That being said, I really want to encourage women. Again, I'm going to bring on like guests who've done cybersecurity. And I actually was thinking about that today. I understand the value of seeing someone that represents your community. I understand that 100%. Because when I saw the first black billionaire, Robert, I can't even think of his name. I cannot even think of his name. That's embarrassing. Somebody let me know in the chat. But when I saw the first black billionaire in person, it like messed my head up in a beautiful way to where I was like, whoa, this black man is a billionaire. And that was when there was only one black billionaire. It was just him. And so I get it. Nevertheless, that being said, I'm sure you could truly learn from men and women that are in cybersecurity. But again, I will bring on women guests that are in cybersecurity. I got you on that. Thank you. I had Robert, but I had Robert, but I wasn't sure about the last name. Thank you, Robert Smith. Yeah, Robert Smith. Really inspirational, man. Incredible. I got to see him in person speaking at a conference. And that was before Jay-Z was a billionaire, before Kanye was a billionaire. This was like 5 years ago when I was broke, way before I even thought about getting in tech. It like blew my mind. So next question. Someone said, can I do a boot camp and work in tech even if I am from Africa, Tanzania? Yes, you can, but it would need to be a boot camp that supports people that live in Tanzania. And of course, you do have to realize that you will have less options in terms of companies that will hire you. You have less options. You still have options, but you have less options. You know, that's just the reality of it, unfortunately. So I always say to people all the time, being Black is not something that will keep you back from getting a job in tech. Being a woman is not something that will keep you back from getting a job in tech. Being, you know, if you're LGBTQ, any of those things, plus, you know, whatever, you know, none of those things will hold you back from having a beard, won't keep you back from getting a job in tech. Having tattoos won't. But you living in a in a place where many tech companies are not, they either don't have customers there yet, or they're still developing customers there, that does limit you to the companies. Now, again, that doesn't mean you can't get a job. You definitely can, but it does limit you when it comes to the companies that can hire you on. So, all right, I'm almost done with the pre-submitted questions, and I'm gonna get to y'all's live questions. All right, so next question. Someone said, or someone asked, should I stay away from mentioning my religious beliefs during interviews if it applies? Yeah, I would say yeah. You know, an interview isn't and I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. You know, I'm a former Muslim. I'm a former Muslim, and I'm a respecter of all beliefs. You know, as long as your belief is nothing that's like, you know, I would say satanic, or nothing that's like about harming people or harming yourself. I'm a respecter of all beliefs. That being said, I am a Christian. I'm pretty serious about my faith. With that being said, I'm not gonna be sharing my faith in an interview unless it's a connective tissue with the interviewer who's interviewing me. So if I'm not gonna randomly be like, yeah, you know, I'm saved, whatever. I'm highly favored. You know, I'm saved and sanctified, Holy Ghost filled. I'm not gonna say that during an interview. But if the interviewer, if they ask, let's say you're doing a role and you want to use you maybe speaking at church, or use something your pastor told you, you can reference those things and you don't have to hide it. But again, a job interview is not the time for you to witness, unless God just tells you to tell the person about your faith and share Jesus with them, or whatever your faith is. So again, get the bag, get in the company, you know, and then start openly talking to people, things like that, you know. But of course, you know, still be mindful, be careful when it comes to that. So somebody say, I have interviews this week, but failed for information systems security officer. I'm not really sure what that. Please, same thing. DM me what you're referring to with this question. Let me grab my charger. I just realized my charger is on the ground and my phone's about to die. Phone's about to die. Boop. All right, we back in action. Back in action. This wine's starting to get to me. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold y'all. This wine's starting to hit you, boy. All right, cool. So last batch of questions. Then we're gonna get to y'all's live questions. Oh, okay, cool. Just a few questions. Someone said, can you drop advice on branding yourself after already pivoting into tech? I'm a sales engineer too. So I'm actually going to be speaking at a conference pretty soon, and I'm going to be speaking about the importance of branding yourself in tech. Now, this doesn't mean you have to become a social media influencer or a tech influencer, or, you know, or techfluencer. Like I coined that term, by the way. If y'all never see somebody say techfluencer, y'all heard it here first. No, let me stop being silly. So advice on branding yourself since you pivoted into tech. So I would say think of it this way. When I look at branding yourself, it's really important that at least 90% of all the content you post is centered around whatever brand you want to promote to people. Because whenever somebody follows you, let's say I make a post about being in tech. When someone follows me on social media off of that post, that's like them signing a virtual contract with me saying, hey, look, I agree to follow you if you give me more content like this. Now, if I under-deliver, and for those that are jumping in the live, somebody asked a question about branding yourself, especially after you pivot into tech. And I'm assuming this person wants to build like a tech brand, which I think is dope. Help more people get in tech, educate people more about what's happening in the tech industry. That's a wonderful thing. Obviously, I do it, and I want more people to do it. But advice, make sure at least 90% of your content is focused on your brand. Now, that means like I love like I have an affinity for relationship content. All this red pill, black pill, blue pill, beta male, alpha male, high value man, simps and, pick me's and all this content, the Andrew Tate, the Kevin Samuels, all of the stuff. I'm intrigued by all of it. Not saying I agree or disagree with everything anybody says. And not co-signing anybody 100%. I'll co-sign Kevin Samuels. I'll say that 100%. I'll co-sign Kevin Samuels. Anyway, that being said, and I don't agree with everything he says or everything he said, RIP. Anyway, that being said, if you follow me, you will notice I post 0 relationship content on my page. Why? Because that has nothing to do with my brand. Don't allow yourself and this is for everybody, when you're building a brand, a business, whatever it is, do not allow yourself to be so emotionally charged. Do not allow yourself to be so emotionally charged by things you're seeing online that you now start making that 20, 30, 40% of your brand. Like I've thought about doing relationship content again, because for those that don't know, I am a certified relationship and life counselor. I've done over 100 counseling sessions, all that good stuff. I've considered trying to merge a brand of educating men to help men become better, not to tear men down, but also not to coddle men or make men feel like, women are beneath you and stuff like that, but to help men truly become better, help men work on themselves. I initially thought about doing that and merging it with tech and merging it with men and getting in tech so that way men could step it up as providers. Because one of the complaints that women have is that there are a lot of broke men out here. A lot of men are not providers. A lot of men are not taking women on dates. And one of the things that women don't know is that women are like, man, these dudes don't even want to take you on dates anymore. 9 times out of 10, it's because dudes don't have money like that to just be giving it to a woman that they're getting to know. They're not even sure if they like her or not yet. Not going to get too deep into the weeds because then we start talking about relationship stuff. Just giving it as an example, I consider merging both of my brands together and doing that. But I decided against doing that because I'm not going to talk about why. I just decided against doing it. But anyway, I'm saying that to say, make sure that whatever your brand is, and I could keep going. I could do like a 5-hour video about talking about brand. Make sure you're not posting. The number one thing that pisses me off, I'm going to say this. This is what pisses me off whenever I see people building a brand on social media, is I look at their story posts and half of their story posts have nothing to do with their brand. They're sharing stuff from the shade room. They're sharing stuff from spiritual world or word. They're sharing stuff from Justin LeBoy. They're sharing all of this random stuff that has nothing to do with their brand. So because of that, 9 times out of 10, when I follow somebody, again, I sign that virtual contract saying, oh, I followed you because I'm expecting to see more of this thing. But once I see that they're talking about a whole bunch of other random stuff, I unfollow those people. They're literally like people that I'm cool with. I know in real life where I unfollowed them and then they hit me up. This happened recently. They hit me up. Somebody I've known for about 10 years. They hit me. I was like, yo, Cyrus, why'd you unfollow me? And I was like, I'm gonna be real with you. I was like, for the last 6-7 years, you've been talking about building this brand. It hasn't gone anywhere. And unfortunately, the reason why it's not going anywhere is because you're posting. I never see you talk about your brand or post your brand. And I was like, I personally hate, and I want y'all to hear this. I told them this. I said, I hate seeing the fact that I didn't say it this exact way, but I was like, I hate the fact that I know that you're struggling financially. You're refusing to get in tech because I tried to help them get in tech. I said, you're not trying to get in tech, which is cool, but you say that you're trying to grow your business and grow your brand, but you're never doing anything to grow your business or your brand. It's been 7-8 years. You've done nothing. And I was like, I don't want to continue watching you waste your life. I'm still here. You still have my number. You can call me, text me. We can hang out. I'm still inviting you to all the parties, the kickbacks I'm doing, all of that stuff. It's all love. When it comes to this social media thing, I don't care to follow you if you're just posting random selfies and posting random stuff from the shade room that now is just distracting me from my purpose. It's like, if you ain't talking about tech, you at least better be posting and talking about some stuff that's focused on your brand. Because I love being inspired by seeing people go after whatever it is they want to go after. If it's not tech, you better be doing some stuff, or 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to care to follow, because my whole heart is that I don't want to be polluted by a bunch of random drama that's happening in the world. If we're not talking about something that's educating or helping people, or you doing something with your business, your brand, something, I don't care to see people wasting their life away. That's just not, I just don't care to see that. And that's why, me personally, I blocked the shade room. I blocked a bunch of different pages that I knew would only get me riled up. That's a personal thing that I did. So if you are trying to build a brand and you keep getting distracted by Justin LeBoy, by spiritual world, by all this stuff, you might need to block those pages. So that way you can focus on what you need to focus on. Anyway, we hop off that. We get to these last 2 questions. Then I'm going to be getting to the live questions that y'all are submitting. Let me know in the comments if y'all agree, if y'all disagree, how y'all feel about that, all that good stuff. So next question, someone said, Osiris, why did you stop promoting Boyd Cluis's cybersecurity bootcamp? So I didn't stop. I guess technically I did. I didn't stop promoting it in a sense that I don't promote it anymore. I don't think people should do it. His cybersecurity bootcamp is a great bootcamp. It's a phenomenal bootcamp. I encourage people to do it. If you want a discount, same thing. I have a discount for his bootcamp and program. I encourage people to check it out. I've only heard great, wonderful things about it. His bootcamp was the first bootcamp that I heard good news about it before. No, same thing with Course Careers, but those are the only 2 bootcamps that I heard a lot of good stuff about it before I went to research it, and before I was like, oh snap, let me go ahead and kind of see if we can partner where I can help people get discounts and I can promote it. I still do, but if you look at the link in my bio, you'll see Pivot Tech, and that's primarily because Pivot Tech offers a couple different courses. So they have a variety, and they offer career assistance. So they assist you with landing a job. I believe they're job guaranteed. I believe they are. I think they're money back guaranteed. Don't quote me on that. Nevertheless, I just don't like confusing people and having 4 or 5 different cybersecurity boot camps. So, but again, Boyd Cluis's boot camp is solid. He's a great dude. His boot camp is solid, all that stuff. So if you're considering doing it, whether or not you want a discount from me, I still encourage you definitely to do it. All right, last pre-submitted question, and then I'm going to get to the live questions everybody's submitting. All right, someone said, what do you say when they ask about job hopping on your resume or timeline? It's come up for me. So this is a great question, because people be job hopping. People be job hopping. So, I actually should have probably prepared for this question, because this is a question I want to make sure I'm answering properly, especially because I'm getting this wine starting to hit me a little bit. So if they ask you about job hopping, so first off, it kind of matters as to why you were job hopping. But let's say you were job hopping. Let's say you were job hopping because you were just trying to get more money. You can let them know. So you know what? Dang, it's so hard to answer this because I don't know how many companies you job hop for. So let's use myself as an example. So I'm a good example. People have seen, if you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see I've been a sales engineer for if you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see me as a sales engineer for 2 different companies. I didn't put the 3rd company on my LinkedIn because I got tired of people that follow me applying to companies and lying and saying that I was a reference, that I referred them. So I decided to stop posting a company. I'm not going to post a company on my LinkedIn. And also my brand has reached a point. That's why I encourage people to build a brand on LinkedIn, build a brand in tech. And your brand doesn't have to be like what I do, helping people get in tech. You can just be posting content, networking, build a brand to where you get to a point to where companies are reaching out to you. So if I wanted to be a sales engineer again, I have companies that are in my inbox on LinkedIn all the time, offer me all kinds of money. And so, but I have enough, praise God, I have enough saved up. And because of the brand deals and everything else with Tech is the New Black, I'm at a good place to where I'm able to semi-coast until at some point Octaply starts making money, because I'm putting more money into Octaply than Octaply is making. But that's just kind of a random tangent. But that happens with every business. You always have to put money into it, serve your community, serve the users before you expect it to start making a profit. I really don't expect to make a profit from it from like a year, because I'm gonna keep putting money back into it even as it grows. Anyway, that's whole sidebar. So what should you do? So this is what I would say. I could give myself an example, because I don't know how often you job hop. I don't know your window of time. So for anybody who's job hopping a lot, this is what I encourage you to do. This is what I encourage you to do. Using myself as an example. So obviously I was at my first tech company. Now, when I got at my first company, I had a long year and a half break on my resume from me not having a job. So I didn't want to tell the company, I didn't want to tell Dialpad that I was a Lyft driver. So when they asked me like, okay, well, looks like you haven't worked anywhere in a year and a half. Like, what have you been doing? I told them about my virtual counseling sessions, which was true. I was like, yo, I do virtual counseling sessions. Now that was only a third or a quarter of my income. Most of my income at the time was from me being a Lyft driver. So one, I mentioned that. And I also mentioned that, yeah, I used to do speaking, all of that stuff, because people know I used to do speaking engagements, all of that. And I was like, but yeah, the pandemic messed that up, which that was true. Now, after Dialpad, I left Dialpad. After month 5 is when I started talking to other companies. And companies, but I only was talking to companies that were reaching out to me. Again, the importance of building a brand on LinkedIn is that you will find that by month 3, month 4, month 5, you will have hella companies reaching out to you to take you from your company. So by month 5, I was at a tech networking event. I wasn't even there to get a job. I was just there because there was free drinks, and I was actually there to support a couple friends who had did a tech boot camp that were there too. And I ended up bumping into somebody who wanted me to come and work for the company. I've told this story before, and she was like, "Oh, you've been at your company for how long?" I was like, "Oh, 5 months." And she was like, "What does it take to take you from your company and bring you to our company?" I was like, y'all have to have good culture, and you got to pay me a lot more money. She was like, "Well, how much do you want to make?" And I told her, at the time, what did I say? I said, I think I said 130,000. And then she was like, I said 130. She's like, we could do 135,000. She pushed it up a little bit. Fast forward, they ended up paying me 157,000 because I had a $12,000 sign-on bonus with $145,000 salary. But anyway, one of the questions they asked me, even though they came to me, they asked me, why are you willing to leave your company? And you've only been here for, at that time, when I finally started interviewing with them, I was in it for 6 months. They're like, why are you willing to leave the company? And I was like, well, because, and I brought up Tech is the New Black. I said, well, because I plan on starting this business so I can help other people get into the tech industry and educate more people. Because this is before I started Tech is the New Black. And I said, man, I need more money so that way I can invest into this business so I can help more people. And they appreciated the honesty. But I also mentioned how, I said cute things like, oh, I like your company's product, your technology, and it was a bunch of BS. I was definitely capping, just to be honest with you, I was capping. But I said those things. So they were like, okay, cool. So they brought me on. Now, the better example is when I left the company after just 2 months. So I left that company after just under 2 months. Same thing, the next company reached out to me. This is what I tell you, the easiest way to job hop is to build a brand on social media to where you have companies coming after you. Because companies, they're not really going to care if you're job hopping if they're coming after you. But if you're a person where you're just trying to work in tech and you're not trying to have any type of visibility on LinkedIn or any visibility in the tech community, that's where, when you're just applying to different companies, that's when they're going to care more about you job hopping, because they didn't come to you, you went to them. I'm going to use this is about to be a real toxic analogy, but this analogy is going to be really good. So listen, this is about to be real toxic, what I'm about to say. So I want to acknowledge what I'm about to say is very, very toxic, but it'll help get the point across. I promise you. Let me take a sip of my wine. I probably should stop saying that, because if I upload this to YouTube, YouTube is gonna like take the video down. They're gonna be like, "You're sipping wine. You kept saying wine." Anyway, I hope y'all ready for this toxic but very accurate analogy I'm gonna give you. So this is the best analogy I can give when it comes to the best way to job hop, or just giving that example. This is about to be so toxic. Y'all about to look at me so crazy. So listen, again, I'm not condoning this. I'm just saying what it is. So think of it this way. The reason that it's better for you to grow a brand and let companies come to you, even though they see you already are working at a company, than it is for you to apply to companies, even though you already are working at a company, is, oh God, I cannot believe I'm about to say this. Listen, y'all don't understand why I'm tripping in a second when I say it. It's very similar. Oh man, I gotta stop drinking during these lives. It's very similar. It's bumping. We grown. I'm gonna say it. It's very similar to a dude or a girl who they are so attractive. When I say attractive, I'm not just talking physical. I just mean everything about themselves, whether they're working out, they are keeping themselves looking good, smelling good. They also have a great personality. They speak really well. They're educated. They're like sociable. Like they're just a beautiful person overall. When that person has people that come to them that say, "Hey, I want to talk to you. I want to date you," but they clearly see that you're in a relationship. I'm not talking about you, but I'm just using this as an example. If someone sees that someone's in a relationship, they can't be mad if they end up being the side dude or the side chick. They can't be like, "Man, like, why you talking to me and you got a boyfriend or you got a girlfriend?" It's like, well, you came to me. And again, I'm not condoning this. I'm just using this as an example. So when a person goes to that person and then they're trying to complain, they can't even complain because it's like they went to you. Versus if there's a person that they're going out and soliciting and trying to find other people while they are in an exclusive relationship, that's when people will look at them weird, like, "You in a whole relationship. Why are you coming and trying to talk to me and you're in a whole relationship?" That's when people have a right to complain. Now, again, that's a very toxic example. Very toxic example. Somebody says the not relationship guy. Again, this is not relationship advice. This is just an analogy to help you understand that it's the same thing with tech companies. A tech company might ask you, "Why are you willing to leave your company to work for them?" They might ask you that, but if they're the ones that came to you, your answer doesn't matter that much. You could literally say, I mean, y'all offer, you could literally say, "Hey, look, I love this is what I would advise you to say. When a company comes to you and they're like, 'Why are you willing to leave your company and work for us?' You could, and I've said this to companies. I would say, "Well, look, I love your company. I love what y'all are doing. I love your product, blah, 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 blah. But listen, I'm not necessarily sure I'm willing to leave my company to work for you all. It's like, I'm interested enough to have a conversation, have these interviews so that I can get to know your company and see if you might be a better fit for me and if I might be a better fit for you." So it's not that I'm trying to leave my company. It's just that you came to me, I'm entertaining the conversation because I want to see that there might be a better opportunity for me out there. And the companies, I've given that answer several times, and they're always like, "Okay, cool." And the beautiful thing about that answer is that now it puts it on that company. It puts it on them to prove themselves to you. It puts it on them to prove that they're the company that you should leave your company for. But if you're acting nervous or you're like, "Well, whatever," you always want to put it on the company. And this is an interview. This is something in interviewing in general that you want to do. You always want to put the company on their back foot. So when they ask you a question like, "Well, why are you willing to leave your company and work for us?" You communicate to them, "Well, all due respect, I love your company. Like, you guys are great. I'm enjoying getting to know you all. I'm very comfortable where I'm at. I enjoy the company that I'm at. But I'm still open to see if there's a better opportunity for me out there. Hopefully it's with you all. If not, I'm totally comfortable staying where I'm at." oh, that puts them on their back foot. We're like, dang, like we already reached out to them, so they know we want them, but now they're basically telling us that they're not trying to leave their company. But if we prove ourselves, if we give them enough of an offer and enough incentive, they're open to leaving their company. That's always a good key thing to do. All right, good stuff. So that ends the pre-submitted questions. Now we're gonna go ahead and get to some of these live questions. My bad. That analogy was crazy. I know it was. I need to hurry up and finish this wine so I could pour some real alcohol in this cup or in this glass. Anyway, so now we get into the live questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hopscotch back and forth between Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I'm going to hopscotch back and forth. So if y'all have put your questions here on YouTube and LinkedIn and I haven't answered it yet, please put your questions, drop them, and I'm going to jump back and forth. So, I guess first, like quick, I guess as I'm transitioning, just a kind of a quick update for people that have come onto the live. So again, y'all, Tech is the New Black is about to hit 100,000 subscribers tonight on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you can say you are amongst the first 100,000 subscribers. We are very, very excited about this. Really huge, and this is all thanks to you all. We have not ran any paid ads. We haven't paid any influencers to shout us out. It's all been 100% organic. We are going to be running some ads in the near future. I keep saying this, but we haven't done it yet. We are going to be running some paid ads in the near future. But in the meantime, in between time, everything has been organic, and that is thanks to you all. Again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Make sure you click the bell notification. Make sure if you see a video, even if you don't watch the full video, like it, show some love. We are now everywhere. We're on Apple Music, Spotify. We're on Audible. We're on any other streaming platforms that you listening to. You can find us there. But if you want to watch video, I encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel because we about to hit over 100,000 subs tonight. And it's about to go up. It's about to go up. I'm actually throwing a party this weekend to celebrate, but the party's going to be in my spot in Atlanta. So it won't be here in Miami. It's going to be in my spot in Atlanta. It's going to be for, y'all going to see, I'm going to announce it. We doing a party this weekend on Sunday in Atlanta. Anyway, that being said, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just some quick updates with Octaply AI. For those of you that do not know, Octaply AI, we finally have introduced a 3-day trial period. So a 3-day free trial period where Octaply within that time frame will apply up to 30 companies for you. It'll reformat your keyword section on your resume so that way it's more accurate to each company. Of course, it'll find the companies for you, all that good stuff. Something that I need everyone to know that's using Octaply, because the number one issue that we've seen with some of our users is that it's important that you put your information in Octaply properly. We have a lot of people that are not putting their proper phone number in there, or they're not putting their accurate email in Octaply. They're not putting information in accurately. And unfortunately, if you're not putting your email in accurately, you're not going to get emails from companies that are emailing you. Basically, you're not going to get updates of all the companies Octaply is applying to for you. You know, if you're not putting your proper number in there, there's all types of treat Octaply when you're signing up. Again, for the free trial, it's a free 3-day trial. You know, if you decide to continue with Octaply after that, and you want Octaply to continue applying jobs for you, doing up to 300 applications a month, all that good stuff. If you want that, then after that, you manually pay for the $600 setup fee. So $600 for the setup fee, and then after that, depending on how long you continue to use Octaply, for the premier tier right now, it's just $97 a month. Our goal is that people would get jobs within, realistically, I think by the 2nd month. So that's our personal goal, is to make Octaply so good that people don't need to continue using it. The reason for that is because, one, we know that'll spread word of mouth, so where people will tell people about it. But 2, because it's like, okay, if while you're working a job, let's say you want to work at another company, but now you're getting this 6-figure bag in tech, but you don't feel like applying, you might come back to Octaply and say, yo, Octaply helped me land this job. So I'm gonna go ahead and go, use Octaply again. So that way I don't have to apply to jobs while I'm working. Anyway, that being said, we do have a 3-day free trial. After the trial ends, you're notified that if you want to continue allowing Octaply to get you interviews, that you would just need to go ahead and pay after that. So no one's automatically charged after those 3 days. Just giving y'all a heads up about that. Yeah. And please make sure you are putting accurate information in there, because if you're not putting accurate information in, then Octaply is not going to be able to do the work for you. The other thing that we noticed, we fixed some things with Octaply. One of the issues that we saw was that there were people that were putting multiple job titles. Because again, Octaply, you put in there the job title that you wanted to apply to for you, and Octaply applies to those roles. We're noticing people are either, not all people, but there are several people that are either putting in job titles that don't really exist. They're putting in senior developer of whatever, like some weird word where it's like, there's no way Octaply is going to be able to find 300 jobs a month that have that specific title. So we were noticing that people were putting in titles to roles that either didn't exist, or people were putting in multiple roles. People were putting in sales engineer, tech sales, software developer. And again, for the premier tier, you can only do one role for the premier tier. Like you can't do multiple roles for the premier tier. So, and because of that, again, the AI was confused and not knowing like what to apply to for those individuals that were doing that. So make sure, also we fixed that because now we've actually created a drop down. So now that issue won't happen anymore. But aside from that, please y'all make sure, for everyone who's using Octaply, make sure you are putting information in as accurately as possible. Make sure you're double checking. Because again, it's just like a resume. When you're filling out a resume or filling out an application rather, it's important that you double check. It's 1,000 times more important that you double check with Octaply, because Octaply is literally applying to 10 companies a day, roughly 300 companies a month for you. You don't want Octaply to apply to 500 companies a month before you realize that you put inaccurate information in. And now you just lost out on 500 companies you potentially could have worked at or interviewed for. So make sure you're putting accurate information in. So just a quick update when it comes to that. Aside from that, y'all, about to go ahead and get to these live questions now. Just wanted to let y'all know what's up with all that. What the flip happened to? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Yeah, you spelled it right. Octaply. Octaply.ai. Also, feel free to email us. Go to our website. Any questions you have, we have a dedicated team that's answering questions there now. All right, cool. So let's get to these live questions. So first, I'm gonna get to some that are over here. And again, I apologize. I'm just now looking at the questions. So the first question I see from Lil Flash, he says, "Can you talk about the current decline in sales roles, tech included?" The current decline in sales roles. So in tech sales, there are new tech sales roles that are opening up every single week. So there's not a decline in tech sales roles, because tech sales, if there are certain roles that companies can't not have. And once a company leaves like their infancy, like right now, for example, Octaply is in our infancy. So right now we are, and I'm not trying to keep talking about Octaply, but I'm just using that as an example. Right now, Octaply is still so young. Someone asked how, I'll get to that question in a second. Octaply is so young right now that we have developers. We have developers, we have the visionaries, we have our customer support team that answers emails, DMs, all of that stuff. And we have marketing. But even our marketing right now is in its infancy. We haven't done any paid advertisement. We don't have any affiliate marketers yet. We're going to have all of those things. We understand how these things go. But because of our infancy, one of the things that we don't have that is a key piece are tech salespeople. But understand, in the next few months, when we start hiring a few tech salespeople, again, we're not going to do a huge hiring of tech sales. But when we start hiring tech salespeople, because there's another side of Octaply that's more of a B2B model. That's when we'll really need like tech salespeople. Because we're not going to hire tech salespeople to like hit people up on social media. Oh my God, use Octaply. We're not going to do that. But for our B2B model, which I haven't told y'all what that is yet, that's something else. That's when we'll get tech salespeople. Now understand, once we start hiring tech salespeople, we're not going to fire or lay off tech salespeople unless it's somebody that just is not doing their job. So again, I'm using Octaply as an example to let you know that tech companies in general don't do layoffs of their tech salespeople unless under two conditions. One, that person is not performing, which that's the most case scenario. That person is not doing their job. Or two, the company, their product is just trash, or the company is going under, or they misuse their finances and stuff. So they're doing layoffs just in general. But most tech companies are not like that. So again, and the reason why I say this is because most tech companies, you go into business, two reasons. One, to help people. And the second reason is to make money, or sometimes, and I'm not saying which order it's in, but that's why people go into business. You have something that will help people, whether it's businesses or it's individuals, or you have something, or or you're going to make money from it. Companies cannot make money. They can't make serious money without tech salespeople. So understand, I've mentioned this before, tech sales is not a role where there's going to be a lot of layoffs unless we're talking about a company where, again, their product is trash, or they have team members that they realize none of these people are performing or even trying to perform. They've just been coasting off of their six-figure salaries, even though they're underperforming. So that isn't really a thing. All right. And again, if you look up on LinkedIn, you will see there's roughly 10,000 sales engineering jobs. For every sales engineering job, there's at least 3 times as many account executive jobs. And then for every account executive job, there's at least 2 entry-level tech sales, BDR, SDR. So if there's roughly 20 to 30,000 account executive roles that are available right now, there are nearly anywhere between half 100,000. There's anywhere between 50,000 to 100,000 or more SDR, BDR roles that are available. And again, new companies are popping up. Octaply is a new company. We're a very, very new company. In the next few months, we're going to be hiring for tech sales, and we're going to constantly be hiring more tech sales people in the next few months. So use that as a perspective. Especially y'all, we're in the AI boom. Every single day, there are another 1,000 new companies, new tech companies, and AI companies, and robotics companies, and machine learning, and cloud, and all these companies popping up, taking advantage of the wave that we're in right now. So stop looking at the layoffs and look at the opportunity. Because looking at the layoffs never allows you. It's just like there's a story in the Bible where Jesus calls Peter to him. Jesus is walking on water. We all know Jesus was walking on water. And I want y'all to get this analogy from this story in the Bible, or this story in history, I like to say, but it just recorded in the Bible. Jesus was walking on water. All the disciples were more worried about the ocean and the storm. He was walking on water while there was a storm happening. Peter asked Jesus, long story short, he asked him, yo, can I come out on the water with you? Jesus is like, yeah, it's really me, so come out on the water with me. Peter starts walking on the water, but the reason why he was able to walk on the water is because he was more focused on Jesus. He was more focused on the Creator, on the Savior, on the one who cared for him, the one that was going to give him salvation. But once Peter stopped looking at his salvation and he started looking at the storm, he started looking at the calamity, he started looking at the drama at his feet. When he took his eyes off of that, that's when he no longer was able to walk on water and started sinking. The reason why I use that historical story as an analogy is to connect the tissue where there are a lot of people, whether you're somebody who's trying to get in tech or whatever it is you're doing, there are too many people that are way more focused on the storm and the water than you are on the opportunity. And again, in this example, Jesus being, of course, Jesus being the opportunity, but it's like you looking at the opportunity of available roles that are open. And I'm going to tell you, that's one of the reasons why I got a job as quickly as I did after tech. That's one of the reasons why, if y'all notice, everybody that's like, if you watch any of my streams, and at this point, I've brought on somewhere about 60 different people just on IG Live that recently broke into tech within like the past 6-7 months. If you notice, the consistent thread with all of them, and including myself, was that none of us paid attention to people on LinkedIn saying nobody's hiring, people on LinkedIn saying, oh, because I'm black, or because of this, because of that. And I'm not making stuff up. I've seen those things where I'm like, bro, you're really gonna put this on a public platform? Or you see people saying, oh, this company ghosted me. Or people on what's that platform called? It's that forum platform called and I know the name of it. It's just escaping me right now. But there's a platform. Y'all know those platforms where people go and gossip and they talk trash. I've heard people come to me being like, oh, people are on this platform talking trash about this boot camp or that boot camp. People on those platforms talking trash about me. I have never went on those platforms to read anybody talking trash about me. Because guess what? The only people you will find that are spending all their time, thank you, Reddit, they're spending all their time on those platforms are people without jobs and people that are not getting jobs, or people that got a job, but they're a gatekeeper and they just love negativity and drama. I've never been that kind of person. Now, I'm not saying those platforms in themselves are bad. Those platforms I'm sure they give good information. I'm sure they help people avoid certain mistakes. What I'm saying is that if all the people I've interviewed on my live on Instagram, they have said, like, yeah, I saw people posting that stuff, but I never paid attention. Same thing with me. I had tunnel vision. Because the reason why, because understand, you're not going to get a 6-figure job by being around people complaining that they don't have a 6-figure job and complaining about the course you did. Because now what happens? Now you start to lose faith. Now you start to be around a bunch of people sitting around and complaining. And now instead of you're never going to be motivated to be like, oh man, let me go ahead and apply to another 10, 20 jobs. Let me go ahead and go to this tech networking event. Let me go ahead and start building up my LinkedIn. You will never be motivated to do the things that actually gets you in the right position if you're around a bunch of people complaining that they're not in the right position. So just like Peter, who was looking at the storm, he got distracted. He was able to temporarily walk on water until he got distracted. Likewise, stop looking at the distractions. Now, yeah, be aware, okay, layoffs are happening, whatever. I'm not saying like put your head in the sand and not at least look around, but I'm saying don't worry about, oh my God, Apple did layoffs, Google did layoffs, Microsoft, this person, that person, these people are doing layoffs. There are hundreds of thousands of tech companies that are not popular enough to hear about that are hiring. And every single day there are new tech companies popping up. So don't get distracted. Like, we're in a recession, a pandemic, whatever we're in right now. We're always in something. Octaply is here. And guess what? We already have a lot of people that want to be investors in Octaply. And so, like, now, mind you, we haven't accepted any investors yet because we want to build the product up more. So that way, once we do accept VCs and investors, they don't get 60% of the company just because they gave us $5 million. But understand that we have people that want to give us millions of dollars. When I was with Validify, a company that just started this past January, when I was at Validify had people offering $2 million for 60% of the business. Understand when companies are getting, like, let's say a company gets $5 million, a startup. Let's say, okay, Octaply. Let's say, for example, Octaply, we accept a $5 million offer, which we haven't gotten a $5 million offer. I want to be clear about that. I'm not trying to cap. Let's say we got a $5 million offer, which I would not be shocked if we got that. But again, we're not talking to VCs. We're not trying to get that, not yet. Let's say we got a $5 million offer. I want you to understand with that $5 million, that's not for me and my partners to ball out on the money. We will take that $5 million, and what we might do, all of us might say, okay, cool. For this first year, we will all maybe pay ourselves $50,000 salary each or $100,000 salary each. And we'll live off, because both of my business partners with Octaply, We all have other sources of income. So we don't need Octaply to pay us a whole bunch of money right now. Octaply ain't paying us nothing. We're losing money on Octaply right now. But we understand the long game. We understand how Octaply benefits people. Nevertheless, understand that if we start accepting money from investors, the bulk of that money is going to go towards hiring. Not the bulk of it, like 95% of the money is going to go towards hiring and paying for like other technology advancements, growing our team, growing our marketing. The money literally goes towards hiring more people. Now, we're one company. In this year alone, in 2023, there are already over 20,000 new AI companies that have popped up. So using that as an example, let's say, okay, we get $5 million from that $5 million. Let's say my math might be off, but let's say, okay, we hire roughly, let's say we hire roughly 30 people from that money. Because we use that money, we hire those people, but we're expecting to start making a profit in maybe the next 2 years. So we're paying people off of that $5 million for 2 to 4 years, really 4 or 5 years, but we're hoping to start making a profit around year 3. I'm giving y'all a lot of kind of business stuff right now. This is an oversimplification, but essentially this is how it goes. Understand that if we hire 30 people and there's 20,000 other AI startups, 20,000 just this year alone. Let's say 20,000 multiplied by 30. What is that math? I think that's 600,000 jobs. And again, that's just a weird analogy, but that's just like some math for y'all to kind of understand. So don't be so focused on the drama and negativity. Focus on the opportunity, because you're never going to get anything. Focus on drama and negativity. Yeah, thank you. And also, there's GovTech, there's robotics. Like, there's several different industries that are booming right now when it comes to tech. Again, there's GovTech, robotics, AI, and the tech industry in general. And again, the tech industry overlaps with all of those industries I just mentioned, but the tech industry in general is still booming, still busting, still hiring. Don't be distracted by the stuff you see. All right, I looked at some questions over here. I'm gonna get some questions over here on Instagram now. All right. So someone asked on Instagram, what's the best career path in tech that has no coding but pays well? Either tech sales, account executive, so SDR, BDR, you get promoted to account executive, or maybe you're able to start as an account executive. So tech sales, sales engineering, some cybersecurity roles, because some cybersecurity roles you do need to code, but not all of them. Some cybersecurity roles. I would say project management, and also we actually just got a project management partnership. You can't see it linked in my bio yet, but I literally just had a meeting with the bootcamp yesterday, and we agreed on a partnership and a discount for people as well. And the episode of that person, the founder of that bootcamp, actually drops on Tech is the New Black in 2 weeks. It's a young woman who killed it in cybersecurity, made over $200,000. She basically did her story and my story are very similar, but instead of her starting a podcast like I did, she just decided to actually start her own bootcamp to teach people about project management, which I could have done that. I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all. I wanted to start a course. I thought about doing a course. The only reason I didn't is because so many people have courses right now that it's like, if you have a course, even if your course is legit, people just don't trust people that have courses. It's the weirdest thing. I get it, but I don't get it. That's why people try to discredit me by being like, oh, he's just trying to sell his course. And I'm always able to say, I don't have a course. And I'm able to laugh. But it's like, if I had a course, would that make the information I'm sharing less valuable? Like, I don't get that. But again, I know there are a lot of people that are rich because they have a course. They're not really rich from doing the thing that they did. They didn't actually do something. They just didn't start making money until they started selling courses doing the thing. I'm like straight up pouring some straight alcohol right now. Anyway, I'm gonna probably do a video breaking down how that happens. There was a wave of people that got rich. I'm gonna give the quick synopsis of where all these courses popped up. Where people selling a business course, selling how to make an ebook, and all these courses. What happened was that a whole lot of people, not a whole lot of people, but there were like 10% of people made a lot of money from the crypto boom, or it was people that made money from Forex, not Forex, but specifically the MLM, the multi-level marketing thing that was happening with Forex. These people were making a lot of money. And I know a lot of these people, they were making a lot of money. But then when the MLM thing got shut down, and I know what happened as to why it got shut down. The reason why y'all don't see all these people flexing their Forex and their MLM money anymore, there was something that happened that made them have to stop. Because I know some of the people that were at the top, and this is literally after I got in tech, I was hanging around these people. And I literally heard the night they had to shut everything down. But when that happened, and when crypto like dropped, because I live out here in Miami now, there are a lot of former crypto millionaires out here. Basically, when all that ended, when all those people realized they had to find another way to make money. Oh, that, and also the PPP loans, the scheme that happened during the pandemic. So there were basically people made money doing things that had nothing to do with them actually running a business or having a viable product that could really help people. They made money one way. And then what they did was when their money play got dried up, they decided to pivot to another industry. But their other industry was them selling a course that they actually didn't really do themselves. They just decided to say, look at how rich I am. I got this money from being a business owner. If you want to start a business, or I got this money from selling ebooks or from selling t-shirts, whatever it is. If you want to be successful like me, use my course so you can be like me. Now, I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all because I'm always honest. I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. When I was thinking through, I was like, man, how can I motivate people to get in tech? How can I show people that this is a viable industry? I was like, oh, I'm gonna copy and paste what they were doing. I'm gonna show people the money I'm making, because most people are not encouraged when you just, because most of y'all know when I first got in tech and I was making videos, I wasn't living in a high rise because I had just got in tech. My lease wasn't up yet. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in a semi-decent area, Cumberland area in Atlanta. Some of y'all might know Cumberland area. It's a pretty decent area. My rent was about $1,600 a month, which isn't cheap, but it wasn't. It's not what I'm paying now. Like, y'all would be blown away if I told y'all what I was paying for this spot here. But anyway, when I was thinking through, like, man, how do I market? I was like, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing all those people have been doing on social media. I'm gonna show people. Because at first, when I was telling people about tech, a lot of people thought I was lying. They thought I was capping. Like, you ain't making no money. So I was like, okay, well, shoot, it's time for me to upgrade my car. So I bought a Benz. And I showed the Benz. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to show that I'm at this restaurant, that I'm taking trips here, that my company's flying me here, flying me there. And then little by little, as my bag started going up, I'm going to show more. I'm going to show more. Fast forward, I'm here now. And now, of course, my income is definitely been blended with my the money that I saved from working in tech, as well as now the brand deals, affiliate deals. And Tech is New Black just joined a network. I'm gonna fully announce it in a couple weeks. I can't announce it yet, but we joined a network. I'm gonna announce who the network is with, what it is, all of that. So again, great news. But now my money is like a mixture of all of these different things. Nevertheless, I use the same marketing ploy that those people use. But the difference is that I actually was making money working in tech, whereas other people were not really making money doing the thing that they're selling people. So that's why people don't trust people that have courses. And that's part of the reason why I personally chose to not make a course, because I didn't want to deal with people not trusting my course because they thought I only had a course and I was trying to make money off the course. So I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do my own course. I'm just going to find good courses that I can vouch for, that I can verify our quality. I'm going to get a discount for people, and I'm going to recommend people to the course, and the course will give me a kickback. I just thought that was the better way to do it because I didn't want anybody questioning my motive because I got my own course. So I decided not to have a course. Anyway, I need to go back to not drinking in these lives. I start going off on too many tangents. But anyway, so to your question, the best career routes to go to, if you want to make a lot of money but you don't want to code, tech sales, various cybersecurity roles, project management, product management. Yeah, those are the best ones I can think of. Like if you want to be able to make it like $250,000, not out the gate, you're not gonna make $250,000 out the gate in any role in tech, unless you. I'm not gonna tell y'all because I'm gonna announce that later. But you're not gonna make $250,000 in the majority of entry level roles in tech. But I'm gonna put this drink down because I'm getting a little too lit right now. I should have kept drinking wine because I ended up drinking the wine and I ended up pouring some real alcohol in here. Anyway, so those are the roles that I recommend: project management, cybersecurity, sales engineering, or an account executive or a tech sales career. And you'll make at least $250,000 if you're networking in the industry well, if you're at a good company, and of course, if you're working hard, you'll definitely be at $250,000 at least within like 3 to 5 years. Like I would say 5 years, you stretching it. Like, but you can definitely do it. Like 5 years is stretching a little bit. 3 years if you're a rock star. 2 years if you're a super rock star. Somebody said, do I do mentoring? Yes. And I promise when I do my mentoring or my one-on-ones, I do not drink. I'm completely sober during those. But yeah, if anybody wants to do a one-on-one with me, my one-on-ones are the only thing that I don't do for free. So I come on live for free. My podcast is for free. Everything I do is free. The only thing I don't do that ain't free is my one-on-ones. So I have 30-minute one-on-ones and 1 hour one-on-ones. Where I look at everybody's unique scenario, situation. We talk through everything top to bottom. I look at your LinkedIn. I look at your resume. I look at your work history. I look at like, okay, what is your process when it comes to applying? How are you interviewing, interview coaching, all that stuff during my one-on-ones. I do 30 minutes and 1 hour. Link in my bio. Yeah, there's different prices for each of those. It's so for 30 minutes, it's $300 for my 30-minute one-on-ones, $500 for the 1 hour one-on-ones. All right. Anyway, so I answer a question over there. I'm answer a question over here. All right, I'm gonna have to wrap this up in 10 minutes because and I need to stop drinking. I'm gonna start drinking water now. I actually got a flight to Atlanta tomorrow. I'm going to Atlanta. All right. I don't see any questions over here. Somebody said, guess what? There will be more layoffs. Yes, there will be more layoffs, and there will be more hiring. There's always more layoffs, and there's always more hiring. That's never going to stop. That's never going to stop. I agree, though. There will be more layoffs. Okay, y'all just talking about people hating on me and stuff. Yeah, everybody's going to have haters. Everybody's going to have some haters. Just don't get distracted by the haters. All right, someone asked, what do you think my girlfriend should get into? She's very shy. So I'm a huge believer that people that are shy should work on being more sociable. Now, I'm not saying she needs to be a social butterfly or she's going live, but one, I would say she should work on that because, again, she's going to want to network and go to tech networking events and network. She's going to want to do something in the future because that'll help her career. But if she's shy, I would suggest, it really depends on who she is. I would assume if somebody's shy, if she's shy and she doesn't want to code, I would say manual QA. If she's shy and she doesn't want to code, I would say product. A product owner eventually becomes a product manager. So I would say the product space. If she's shy and she doesn't want to code, customer success manager. If she's shy and she doesn't want to code, project management. I only have recommendations and discounts for the for manual QA, project management, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, cool. Good question though. I'm gonna see if y'all asked the question over here. All right, y'all about to wrap up again. Somebody asked, how long will you be in Atlanta? You can DM me. I'll tell you in a DM if you message me. I'm not prone to publicly tell people how long I'm going to be in what city I'm going to be in. I low-key shouldn't even have said I'm going to be in Atlanta tomorrow. I don't have any ops or nothing because, I don't do anything. Like I'm really out here just helping people. I don't have any ops. Nevertheless, it's like a lot of weird people out here. So I don't need to let everybody know where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be there. So, but yeah, just DM me and I'll let you know. All right, next question. Do you think tech sales or the tech world in general is felon friendly? I answered this earlier. I would say watch this from the beginning. One-on-ones for giveaways. Ooh, should I do a one-on-one for a giveaway? No, I probably won't. I'll probably let the giveaways be for the tech boot camps. Yeah, I'll probably let it be for the tech boot camps. The reason why is because the majority of people I would recommend to do it. Everyone doesn't need to do a tech boot camp, but usually with most people I talk to, not all, but most, usually I'm like, yeah, you probably do a tech boot camp. And they cost more than my one-on-ones do. So it'll be better for me to like pay for people to do a tech boot camp than it would be for my one-on-ones. And also, I'm gonna be real with you, the one-on-ones, if that's an hour of my day, I'm not trying to sound bougie, but I'm busy as hell. Like, people don't know how busy I'm so busy. I be wanting to cry sometimes how busy I am. And so doing a one-on-one for free, that junk would, oh man, I love helping people, but sitting down for 1 hour to talk to one person, I'd rather sit down for 3 hours and talk to a lot of people, help a lot of people at once, than to sit down 1 hour and talk to one person. And mind you, I love talking to people one-on-one, but it costs so much for me to do that's why I charge for my one-on-ones. Because it's like, okay, if I'm just talking to you, that's cool, but I'm sacrificing talking to a lot of people right now. So because I'm just talking to you and I'm giving this time solely to you, I'm going to charge for that. Makes sense. All right. Anyway, someone said, I just wanted to network. That's funny. What's more stable, cybersecurity or tech sales? I would almost say they're both equally as stable. I would say tech sales is in higher demand because companies don't hire security engineers until the company is at a certain size. So tech sales is in higher demand, but they're almost equally more secure. Yeah, they're almost equally secure. All right, answer questions over here on Instagram now. Again, y'all, I'm about to wrap up in 4 minutes, 4 minutos, or cuatro minutos. Y'all know I'm in Miami. I'm working on my Espanol, all that good stuff. So, what do you do as a sales engineer day to day? Check out my FAQs. I have FAQs completely free. Go to the FAQ section on my YouTube channel, and I answer that question as well as most of the questions I've been asking, and I answer them in my FAQs. How can I get into the music and technology space? Apply for. Apply for a tech company that focuses on music. There are a lot of AI companies right now that are. Not a lot. There are several AI companies that are focused on being able to recreate music for artists. So I would say, I'm trying to make sure my chain's centered on camera. I would say, I'm looking real crazy right now. I would say that, just focus on those types of tech companies and you'll be good. But I wouldn't say only focus on those companies. If you're not in tech yet, please do not, and I say this to everybody, if you are not in tech yet, do not be so adamant that you need to be at a certain type of tech company, unless you're just trying to leverage your transferable skills. But make your focus really getting a solid job in tech first before you're like, I'm only going to try to work at these type of tech companies. Because then what? You're going to be applying at 30 companies only? And then what if you don't get an interview? Like, what are you going to do? So... yes, y'all can DM me. DM me on Instagram. I'll answer questions if you DM me. It'll either be me or one of my virtual assistants answering the questions, but they have all the answers that I give people. And whenever they get unique questions, they are like, hey, Cyrus, I got this unique question. Or I'm in the DMs and I see the question that's me that's answering. Either way, going to the question box. I'm about to wrap up in 2 minutes. Next question. I'm happy I stopped drinking because I was getting way too lit. All right, next question. Which field of tech are you able to scale the most in? I mean, you're talking income? Yeah, which position has the greater possibility of leveling up income? I kind of answered this already. That's a really... So tech sales, cloud engineering, sales engineering, cybersecurity, possibly. It's just, I'm gonna say this. Let me say this. So there are roles in tech. So most roles in tech are six-figure roles. By six figures, meaning most of them you're at least gonna make a little over $100,000. But then there are other roles where you can faster than others scale to like $200,000 to $300,000. Those are the ones I just mentioned. But when you're talking about making more than like $250,000 and up, like $300,000 and up, it's not just the roles, but now it's the person. So now it's your networking, it's you working hard, you working extra hours. So you're not gonna make it to $500,000 in tech if you're just trying to work 9 to 5. You're gonna have to put in extra hours. Like basically, you're trying to be rich. Like if you're not trying to, you're gonna be rich. And like if you look at doctors, like medical doctors, you look at like lawyers, specifically the lawyers that actually make money, because most lawyers ain't making a lot of money. People don't know that. Most lawyers are not making a lot of money. You look at medical doctors, you look at lawyers that are making a lot of money. You look at engineers, and I mean like I'm not just talking about like technical engineers, but I'm talking about civil engineers. You know, we're talking electrical engineers, petroleum engineers. When you're making those people that are making like a certain amount of money, it's not just because they chose a good career, it's because they put in extra hours. Doctors don't just work their 10-hour, 12-hour shifts. They usually are spending an extra hour every day or every other day, an extra hour studying their material. Lawyers, the successful lawyers are not just, doing I don't even know the shifts they work. They work weird shifts. They're not just doing that. They're spending extra time studying their case. So if you want to make like a lot of money in whatever industry you're in, whether it's tech, whether you're a business, whatever it is, you're going to have to, you think of it like Kobe Bryant. You're going to have that Mamba mentality where you're like, yo, I'm going to put in extra hours, extra work. And so whatever it is you're doing, you're just going to need to do that. There really is, you can make six figures. If you want to look at it, boot camps as a shortcut to make six figures. Yeah. But if you're trying to be rich, there's not shortcuts. Like you really going to have to put some extra time and extra work in that other people aren't putting in. Somebody said remote job stacking is the best bet for scaling. I disagree strongly. I wouldn't say, I disagree. You can make more money job stacking. This is the last thing I'll say. I'll answer probably one more question that I'll let y'all go. You can make, this is why, and I'm not saying you can't make a lot of money job stacking. For those who don't know what job stacking is, there are non-customer facing roles in tech, usually a software engineer, maybe cybersecurity, something that's behind the scenes where you're not required to be in a lot of meetings. You're not required to do a lot of customer facing stuff. There are people that are working at multiple tech companies, or they're accepting multiple contracts from different tech companies. I have homeboys that do that, and they're making a lot of money doing it. But most of the people that I know do it. There's a specific way that you have to job stack to make a lot of money and not be burnt out, because most people that do job stacking don't do it right. Most people, and let me break down what it is. So let's say you're a software engineer. You could technically work at 3 companies. Let's say each company, just to make it simple, let's say each company is paying you $120,000. You're a relatively new software engineer. You're not entry, but you're still you're like maybe a year in, a year and a half in. You could have 3 companies paying you $120,000, which is the equivalent of $360,000 before taxes. But you're going to be working a lot. And it's like when you're working that much, it's like, again, you can do that, but it's like you're not going to want to do that for long because you will get burnt out. I know people that are doing that, and most of them are burnt out. And it's like they're looking like zombies when I see them. Like they're struggling. And then they got to hide from each company. They got to dance around meetings and organize meetings and try to hide from each company that there are multiple companies. Now, the proper way to job stack I'm gonna give you all the game. The proper way to job stack, again, for a non-customer facing role, is to accept jobs from multiple companies, but hire, and again, these are non-customer facing roles. Hire people that either live in third world countries. Yeah, somebody said job stacking is the best short term. Exactly, short term. But if you want to do it long term, or if you want to do it to where you're not burnt out, you can hire either people that don't have jobs yet and they're trying to build up their resume or build up their portfolio of experience, or they're trying to gain more expertise. Either hire people that are junior and pay them maybe half the salary, or pay them maybe 60% of the salary, let them do the job, but you collect 40%. And recruiters are gonna hate me for saying this. I promise you, recruiters, I'm not, all the recruiters here, I'm not encouraging people to do this. I'm just sharing, if someone's gonna go about breaking law in tech, this is the best way to do it. Not telling people to do it. I'm just saying, if they're gonna do it, it's the best way to do it. Either one, hire people that are junior, or two, hire people behind the scenes that are living in, I'm not gonna say, I already said third world country, that are in third world countries. We grown. I hate how like PC we become, where you can't just say stuff. You always have to like edit yourself when you talk. It's so silly. But anyway, hire people that are in countries to where, now, of course, you still want to make sure those people know how to do the job properly. And I have a homeboy who did this. This is how one of my homeboys was making like $500,000, and I barely saw him working because he was a developer. He was a senior level developer that would get a lot of contracts, and he would hire junior developers. So like, let's say he got a contract one time from Home Depot, and I think the contract was something like, it was something like $100,000 contract for 3 months of work, 3 or 4 months of work. They wanted him to build something out software wise. He hired 2 junior developers, paid each of them, I think $40,000 each, or 20. No, he paid each of them $25,000 each, and he pocketed the other $50,000. And he would do that. He would do multiple contracts with different tech companies. So he was never working at a company. He would just accept contracts on the side to be a contractor. And he was making like, again, like about almost $500,000, but he wasn't even doing the work. There were junior developers that were doing all of the work. He would just double check or proofread their work and make corrections and stuff throughout the week. So that's what you can do. That's the better way to job stack. Don't actually try to work at all the companies yourself. Just get the job, pass it off. And again, recruiters gonna hate me for, I low-key should probably take this video down, or part of this video down, because I know recruiters, people are gonna not like me that are recruiters, talent sourcers, because they cannot stand when people do this in tech. Because it's low-key not a good thing to do. I'm gonna be real, it's really not a good thing, because what happens is that I literally just had lunch with a dude who's a contractor recruiter recently. He was telling me how this actually messes his business up, because he will help people. He will get people a job at a tech company. The person will do the interview. They'll get the job, but then they will have a friend do the job instead. But the friend doesn't really know the job that well, so the friend screws it up. And then the company is like, what the hell? And the company looks at my homeboy, who's a recruiter, and look at him like, dude, you brought this person to us. What are you doing? So because of that, the company looks at him weird, and they let the person go. So that's why it's low-key it's not a very honest thing to do. But again, if you're gonna do it, I'm at least telling you the way to do it. Don't work at multiple companies at the same time, because that junk will burn you out. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I've never met a person at JobStack, their first or even second year in tech, that made more money than me just focusing on one tech job, working really hard, networking really well, and job hopping. So if you want to get to $200,000 plus in tech, choose a good tech job. And y'all know I only recommend jobs in tech where you're going to make a lot of money. That's why people ask me about, oh, Cyrus, what do you think about being a web designer? You're not going to make a lot of money. Cyrus, what do you think about, doing IT support. Okay, you can scale from that and start making money, but doing that, you're not going to make a lot of money. So I only recommend roles where you're going to make a lot of money and where you can scale and make a lot of money. All of the game I give away is to help people scale in an honest way. You can make more money doing stuff the right way, networking well, networking on LinkedIn, networking at tech events, doing your job well, and networking within your company. You can make a lot of money faster, in my opinion, doing that than trying to work in multiple tech companies at the same time. And then you don't want to burn yourself out. It's just you don't want to do that just to try to be slick. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. This is probably the longest live I've done. I'm definitely about to hop off this thing. Couple of quick things. Again, y'all, tech is the new black. We are about to be at 100,000 subscribers tonight. If we're not at 100,000 already, might be at 100,000 right now for all I know. But we're going to be at 100,000 subscribers tonight on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that's been supporting Tech is the New Black. Make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, hit the bell notification. If you see us post something, you see a video, whatever, I encourage you to watch it. But I mean, if you're not going to watch it, like it, show some love. So that way it helps the algorithm share our content with more people. So more people could be educated, can know what's up. This is my 1 year week anniversary of doing the tech boot camp. So it's pretty dope. With that, we are going to start Tech is the New Black team. We decided that we are going to start doing giveaways. One of the giveaways we're going to be doing is at least one person a month. We're going to sponsor one person a month to do a tech boot camp. Please do not DM us or comment saying, hey, I want you to sponsor me. We're not sponsoring people that do that. We're going to find some other way that'll include something with you just commenting on our YouTube channel, you engaging something. We're going to find different people. Yeah. Also, if you want to do, just real quick, if you want to do cybersecurity, data analytics, I personally encourage you to check out Pivot Tech or Boyd Cluis's Tech Bootcamp. I have discounts for those. If you want to do, UX or UI design, Course Careers, the same tech sales bootcamp y'all seen me talk about, they have a UI UX design course. Again, same thing. If you use my discount, Cyrus50, you'll get $50 off, so it'll only be $449. Link in my bio for that. Y'all already know Careers. All the boot camps discounts are in my bio. Octaply AI, we have a 3-day free trial going on, so you can use Octaply AI now. Allow Octaply to start applying to jobs for you. Start doing the work to help you land interviews. 3 days free, no charge. And then after that, if you decide to continue, for everybody that's going to decide to continue to utilize Octaply, you can manually choose to pay after that. But first 3 days are entirely free, so that way you can start applying to jobs for you every day. And yeah, other than that, that's it. I love y'all. Peace and blessings. All right, see y'all. Love y'all.